Right. Hello, people. I'm having a little recording session right now, I guess, getting some videos done for next week. But I thought I should address some breaking news, I suppose. Zuffa boxing, which is a topic I've gave my thoughts on this channel before. I don't really remember what I said in that video, but I thought I should get to it today. As there's been more developments, of course, it's all kind of official now. It was all speculation back then. Now it is official. There is an event booked. And yeah, let's get into it, man. So, reading from their Instagram post, are you ready? At Zuffa Boxing is coming to the Apex live on January the 23rd. Watch on Paramount Plus, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now I'll throw up the two pictures on the post on the screen. The event, the headliner will be Callum Walsh versus Carlos Ocampo. I will now play the video of the announcement from Dana White right here.
And then even in the boxing match is the night before, the 23rd.
Right.
And when I talk about matchmaking, I'm going to have all these up and coming guys. Like we have, this kid named Ocampo, who is a seasoned veteran. His only losses are in title fights, 3 title fight losses. He has more knockouts than Callum has fights.
Wow.
Callum undefeated, 15-0. And it's the main event. Should be, again, a badass boxing event.
So there you have it, people. Said with about as much passion and conviction as a bitter ex-girlfriend, but there you have it, the announcement from Dana White. Yeah, so Carlos Ocampo versus Callum Walsh, or Callum Walsh versus Carlos Ocampo. Callum Walsh is a super welterweight, 15-0, 11 knockouts, Irish, 24 years old. Carlos Ocampo is 38-3. For super welterweight and only 30 years of age, which I'm not sure I believe, because he's been around a while. Of course, in that video there, Dana White said Carlos Ocampo had only lost in title fights. That's not fucking true. He lost to Errol Spence, which was in an IBF title fight, I believe. Unless you count an interim world title against the 2 guys he fought against, which was Fundora and Zoo, the other 2 guys he's lost to. You can't really say anything about that. I didn't know Ocampo was still around. Since that Tim Zoo fight, he has had 3 fights this year, last year, 2025, in Mexico. A 1-round TKO, a 2-round TKO, and a 3-round KO. All against obscure opposition. The opposition actually kind of getting worse as he kind of progressed in that little run. Last guy he fought hadn't won any of his last 6. The other 2 had lost 2 of their last 6 at varying points in time. The resume of Carlos Ocampo is thin, to say the least. Really, a lot of his fights, most of his fights really have taken place in Mexico against incredibly obscure opposition. When he first stepped up to world level against Errol Spence, he had a very brief moment of success before getting knocked out in the first round. Before returning back to Mexico, before returning to America briefly, fighting a guy who was 40-10-1, losing to Sebastian Fundora by unanimous decision. We all know Fundora's a very, very good fighter, but lost that fight very clearly. Before going back to Mexico for a fight, before losing to Tim Zoo in a round, and now being on a 3-fight win streak. Callum Walsh, you guys will remember him from the, I wouldn't say pitiful showing, but the very lackluster and boring showing against Fernando Vargas on a Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez undercard. Other than that, he hasn't beaten too many names, but Callum Walsh has been kind of Dana White's foot in boxing for a very, very long time. He's been kind of promoted on the UFC pages and of such, the UFC platforms sparingly, I want to say, for the past 2 years, and he's kind of the foot in the door that's initiated this. Now getting into Zuffa Boxing, they haven't even had their first event, and the cracks are starting to show. Obviously, they're in partnership with Turkey the Sheikh. The original plan for this was, right, we're going to have this kind of organisation. The ring belt's going to be the only belt. We're going to have one belt, and it's going to be the Ring Magazine belt, hence why Turkey the Sheikh bought Ring Magazine. the thing I don't get is I feel like there's a conflict of interest here in the fact that Turkey Sheik's putting on his own events with the Ring Magazine, but you want to start the Zuffa boxing thing, and you want the Zuffa boxing thing to be the one kind of thing. And in Zuffa boxing said they're going to have their own belts, which I have my own problem with, because you said the Ring Magazine was meant to be the only belt, but you're going to have your own belts. So you're already kind of backpedaling on that. And it's not even the fact, like, having one belt's cool, yeah, but it's the fact that fighters aren't going to want to fight for your Zuffa boxing belt. It's got no history. It's got nothing to it. It's got no credence. It's just got absolutely no validity to it. Whereas the Ring Magazine belt, at least, has hundreds of years of history, like it's a fucking decades and decades of, like, it's got really rich history, does the Ring Magazine belt. So that made sense to me, and I didn't have a problem with that. There's, of course, the stuff with the Muhammad Ali Act, which kind of relates more back to the UFC's more predatory business practices, where the fighters very much are not kind of their own entities. They're more of employees to the promoter and used as fodder, really. Let's be honest, they're used for the promoter's own gain and have very little in their own kind of say. As for what's going to be on the undercard, I cannot imagine it'll be much good. See, the thing is, I don't know who they have signed. So that makes it tricky because I can't really speculate. I'd expect a below Pro Box level card. Pro Box put on some decent cards. I'd expect below that. Not the highest name value, but quite entertaining. I'd expect below that. It's in the UFC Apex, which I think is... Don't get me started. I was going to make a video about the UFC Apex, like when I was doing... I don't really cover UFC anymore, but when I was covering UFC, I was going to make a video about the Apex. I fucking despise the Apex. If you guys don't know what it is, it's basically a COVID venue. You know how fights were back in COVID? That's essentially what the Apex is. It was built for that kind of environment and just hasn't gone away. They, of course, do let crowds in, but it's more of a closed off little look on me and my rich friends kind of a thing. But yeah, man, I feel like the crack's already starting to show. There's a lack of passion. You can hear that in the way Dana White's talking about it. There just seems to be a lack of passion and really drive to get anything done, which, say what you want about Frank Warren, for example, that motherfucker is ruthless. He will not bend a knee to fucking anyone. So yeah, we'll see. I'll reserve judgment. Like, no one's above praise, no one's below praise, no one's above criticism. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. But I am very, 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 very cautious about this. I'm not even cautiously optimistic. I'm just cautious about if it will work at all, and I'm cautious about, say, if it does work out, the future of this sport, because I feel like it could be very, very bleak. But fighters are smart people, some of them, and there's other options. So let's hope this all goes well. Sorry if this video is a bit of a mess. I'm not good at covering breaking news. But thank you for watching. Goodbye. Obviously later on today, this is Saturday, there will be fight coverage. I'll do a post-fight reaction to Ajit Kabayel and Daniel Neba and Matthias versus Smith. Goodbye.